Hello and welcome to today's video. We are racing here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, just a day after the actual NASCAR race at New Hampshire that Kevin Harvick won. I was very excited about. But the reason we're racing New Hampshire, besides the fact that Kevin Harvick won, was I thought it was very cool that the sponsor was Foxwoods Resort Casino, and it's the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301. Now the thing about that is Foxwoods is a casino in Connecticut, where I live, and it's not that far from where I live, so I can go there quite often. And I thought it was cool that they were the sponsor. And actually, I went to Foxwoods the day that they announced it, and Kevin Hart was there. So the day they announced the sponsorship. And actually, if you look over here, they gave out shirts at the thing, and I got a shirt with the sponsor on it. So there you go. So basically, that was the thing. I got to go and see Kevin Harvick there, and I got a shirt and some other things. So, we're going to race now at New Hampshire. Now in the game, it doesn't have that as a sponsor because the game was made, or the 2018 update was made before that sponsorship announcement. But, either way, it's something we're going to race at. Now this year we're doing 25% of the actual race, which is kind of a lot, considering we normally race 7%. Here on the channel, we're going to race 25%, which means we're doing a bunch of stages. We're doing stage racing. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a endurance run here for us. We normally, again, do not do that much racing. We normally do 7% and end it. But we're back. We haven't played NASCAR Heat 2 in a while on the channel. We got 13th? Ugh. Alright, here we go. We're going to go race. That's about where Kevin Harvick qualified, actually, for Sunday's race, so I'm not really worried. Inside. New Hampshire's a race that we can get to the front and we can do good, but we just gotta work our way up there. It's a little bit of time to figure it all out. Oh, wait. I didn't put normal fuel and tire wear on that I normally run with. We're running a less percentage. I believe this race 75 laps. So when the first stage comes to an end, we will then be able to make it on fuel. Or the first caution comes out. Whatever one comes first. So here we go to the... Can we get to the inside of Logano here on this run? We cannot. Larson's right there to the outside. I don't know, how long can tires go? That's the real question. How long can tires go? Because new tires are going to be a big benefit. You don't want to be out here on 75 lap tires. So maybe we'll pit after the end of stage number 2. I'll kind of just go with the AI goes. I don't really want to get off cycle from them. We out-cornered Logano there by a lot. I don't think this has the similar settings as we ran for our long series. I'm not sure. I didn't really look at the settings outside of the amount of laps. And I made sure stages were turned on, and that was it. Alright, just get on the brakes a little bit. You don't have to like hit it as hard as I did. I don't know why I did that. But either way, we're out here. We're doing laps. We've only done 5 laps. That was a really good lap. The amount of laps of the stage is about how many laps. Little less than what we do in our normal race in our series. I think there was like 21 laps or something like that. So, yeah. But I was excited that it was something that I knew was a sponsor of the race, and it was a track that I've been to multiple times. The only track that I've ever been to, actually. But I went to it, I think, 3 times, maybe? I think I've seen 2 or 3 cup races at the track. And I've seen a couple Xfinity and a couple truck races. Maybe 1 or 2. I've seen all 3 of the series. It was a long time ago. Yeah, I think I've gone to 3 cup races. Yeah, let's see if I can break down all the ones I went to. So I went to one when Joey Logano won his first race. The first race that Joey Logano ever won in NASCAR, which he won at New Hampshire. It was a rain-shortened race. I remember that. It rained, and he won the race, and he was going to have to pit, and then Jeff Gordon probably would have won the race. So it wasn't the best time to be there with 2 Jeff Gordon fans. But Joey Logano won. It was kind of cool to see a driver from Canada get the first win at a race that I was at. And I remember it rained, and we had garbage bags that we wore to stay dry when we were walking back to the truck that we were going to. Yeah. That was pretty dope. Then I went to one that I remember, because that one I went to with my dad, and then I went with Casey and his dad. And that was the one that Joey Logano won. And then the next race that I went to, or I don't remember the exact order, that would have been 2009. But I know I went in like 2008, because I would go with my grandparents, they'd bring their camper and we'd go. I went to an Xfinity race with them, truck race with them before. But we went to one cup race. Because we kind of sat on the, because I sat in turn 1 a couple times. But I sat in the straightaway because that's where my grandma had her tickets. And that's where we watched a couple of the races. But I remember that one because in 2008, I had a time that I liked Kyle Busch. I will admit, it wasn't the best time, but I was 9. And like every kid, they liked the car. And I think that's more what it was. I think I just liked the car. Because it looked cool. But either way, I remember Kyle Busch was in the lead in the points, and it was the first race of the, at the time, chase. This was before it was the playoffs. He was in the lead, and that's when everything started going downhill. Looking back at it, I'm glad I didn't win the championship that year, but at the time I was hoping that he would. That was weird because it was like one season, because I always liked Tony Stewart, basically. I always liked Tony Stewart, he was my favorite driver, and I always liked Kevin Harvick. He was never my favorite driver until I started watching NASCAR again, but I told that story multiple times. So either way, Kyle Busch was in the lead, and I remember him crashing in the back straightaway, in that grass there. So, I remember that race because I looked across the track and he crashed. And that sort of like set up the him losing the championship that year. And then I went in 2013, found out my mom and dad, and then Casey and his dad. So we all went because Casey's dad had got, because he'd worked for Fast and all at the time, so he got tickets from them, and we got to see Carl Edwards. I've told the story, and there's a video about it. But yeah, we went. I believe Brian Vickers won that race. It was the last race he ever won. And Casey got lost. Oh man, that was wild. We lost Casey, so my parents went to the seats and they sat there, so if he'd show up there, and then Casey's dad and myself, we went and walked around the place and tried to find him. Shit was dank. Oh man, so yeah, so we went. I know I went to 3 cup races. There might have been another one that I went to, but I remember 3. All at New Hampshire. But yeah, the thing that's weird is like I always like Well, the first driver that I actually really liked when I liked NASCAR, when I was really, really little, was Terry Labonte. When he was driving the 5 car, I was so little, but I didn't really count that because I was so little. But I liked his car because it was orange. And then I started liking Tony Stewart around like 2002, so I was like 3, so it didn't really matter. That's why I said Terry Labonte didn't really count as my favorite driver. But yeah, so I liked Tony Stewart a lot because his car was orange. Because 2002 he won the championship, so I had stuff that said he won championships. Like I have a garbage can that says he won the championship on it, which is downstairs. And then I have another one in my bedroom from when he won 2005. But yeah, that's the thing. So instead of just like Tony Stewart, for some reason in 2008, I decided to like Kyle Busch. Not really sure why. But yeah. Then I liked Tony Stewart again in like 2009. And then I just kind of liked Tony Stewart, but I didn't really watch NASCAR from like, I don't know, maybe 2010 to about midway through the 2014 season. I sort of came back to watching NASCAR. And then I don't really know why. Well, actually, I know part of the reason. So I liked Kevin Harvick before. Well, actually, I came back to watching NASCAR, and I liked Kyle Larson. Like, I still like him. But I'm like, oh, he's got a target on his car. I'm going to like Kyle Larson. And then Kevin Harvick at number 4, and I'm like, oh, Kevin Harvick, I liked him before when he had a 29 car. So he's going to be my favorite driver now. I don't really know why that sort of happened. I mean, it sort of switched, because Kevin Harvick was one of the drivers that I really liked, but Tony Stewart's my favorite. And then it sort of switched to being Kevin Harvick was my favorite, and Tony Stewart was one of the other ones that I liked. Not really sure why that was a thing, but it was. Kevin Harvick became my favorite driver, and won the championship the year that I came back watching NASCAR, which is exciting. But yeah, so since 2014, Kevin Harvick's been my favorite driver. But I've always really liked Kevin Harvick. There's a picture over there with me with the 29 car, like, I think it's from 2001.
Still a car out there.
So his first season driving the 29 car. They had it at some event. It was at some store or something. I'm assuming that event would have had Dale Earnhardt car. Because they had a Kevin Harvick car in his rookie season. So I'm assuming that's probably why they had a Kevin Harvick car there. But either way, there's a picture of me sitting near the car. I got my arms crossed. I'm like, I don't want to be here. But it's a funny picture, so I'd leave that over there. It's over there next to a little cardboard cutout Kevin Harvick that I have. But yeah, this year's been so exciting to watch. Kevin Harvick race. The rest of the NASCARs have been pretty boring this year, but it's been exciting to watch Kevin Harvick win 6 races. That's kind of crazy because it's the best that my favorite driver's ever done in a single season. Of any of my favorite drivers that I really remember. I mean, I know Tony Stewart won a bunch of races, but I'm not really sure if he won that much in a season. I don't really remember, and if he did, it's probably like a long time ago. So I don't really remember. So this is the best that any of my favorite drivers have ever done in a single season, winning races, so it's exciting to watch. But the rest has just been so boring. The thing is that it's just because it's the same 3 drivers, it gets to be a little bit just boring. Especially when the other 2 drivers that are winning all the races are ones that I don't like. Like, if it was a different driver winning the other races, like if it wasn't Kyle Busch and Martin Truex, now if I had to pick one of the 2, I guess I'd pick Martin Truex, but he's, I don't know, the thing I don't like about Martin Truex is that he just seems to be, like, they always play his thing from the radio, and he's so mad when the slow cars don't get out of his way. And it's like, this dude, like, does he forget that he was terrible until, like, 3 years ago? Like, does he forget that? Did you forget that he was the slow car in everybody's way for 10 years? Like, he had a good season at, had a couple good seasons, and for the most part, he was pretty bad. And is kind of in everybody's way. I don't know if you forget that the race team he's on was in everybody's way for like 10 years. But, either way, that's just so annoying. Every time they play this thing, he's just mad about a lap car. Or he's like, mad he gets second place, he's acting like Kyle Busch. That's the thing about Kyle Busch, he just gets so annoying. The way he acted when he pushed Kyle Larson to win, that was a big yikes. But I mean, that's the way, if he wants to race people, he couldn't be mad about Kevin Harvick pushing him out of the way. Like, that's the thing, if you want to push you all the way, then you can't be mad if someone pushes you back. So he took it pretty well, considering. I'm sure he's gonna do something later in the season, but there's clips of him doing it last year, apparently, to Kevin Harvick at Pocono. I don't remember that, but apparently, from what I've seen on Twitter, that there is something who did that, so. But either way, yeah. So I think it was just drivers that I liked. Maybe it was another Stuart Haas driver, maybe, that was winning all the races. Like, if Clint Bowyer had 5 races instead of 2 that he won, or if Eric Almirola won 4 or 5 races, then it'd be okay. Or even if it was like William Byron won a bunch of races, or Chase Elliott, or Jimmy Johnson. If it was like a Hendrick driver or like a Stuart Haas driver, then I wouldn't really care. But it's just, it's got to be Kyle Busch and Martin Truex. But I do want Eric Almirola to win a race and Kurt Busch to win a race before the year's over, though. Because if you guys didn't know, Stuart Haas is my favorite team, so I like them to have all 4 drivers win. But who knows? I think a lot of people have like their favorite driver and their favorite race team. It's kind of like both. Typically, your favorite race team is the one your favorite driver's on. Like, I know that my dad liked Hendrick because he liked Jeff Gordon so much. But he didn't like Jimmy Johnson, which is weird. But he still doesn't like Jimmy Johnson. I'm just like, what? I don't know, I do like Hendrick now. I didn't like the team before, but I like the team. But, oh boy, that was spicy. Wow. That was a little bit of a hit to the wall there that we don't want to take. But yeah. So, I'd like to see those drivers at least win a race. All 4 of the team can get a win. Because that's never happened. They never had all 4 cars win. This is the most competitive that they've had, all the cars. I'm not really sure. I think the thing was just Danny Kirkpatrick, I think, just didn't make the switch from Indy cars to stock cars as well as some drivers do. And it was really hard to make that switch. So it's not, she wasn't a bad driver. She just, as a lot of people say, she's a bad driver, but I don't think she was a bad driver. I just think that she couldn't really make the switch as good as people thought she could. That's the thing, I just think that she didn't make the switch as well, and what didn't help was that she'd get caught up in auto wrecks, and then everybody's be like, oh wow, she crashed. But a lot of the time she just got caught up in other people's crashes. She was in the wrong spot and got into a crash. But I think that's the thing. I think she just couldn't make the switch as well, and then you see that sort of now with Eric Almirola in the car, how the car is just performing better. And I think it wasn't a lack of talent that Danny Kirkpatrick had. It was more of a struggling with the swap between the 2 cars, because she never really performed that well in the Xfinity Series either. But I think it was a little bit of both. Like, she did a good job. Like, she could race. It's not that she couldn't race, but it's just she didn't have the most time to switch between the two cars. She probably should spend more time in the Xfinity Series, but I think they were pushing a lot of that thing with getting a female driver into the top series, which I think is good to have a female driver. There's a lot of younger female drivers that are in the lower series that I'm sure will do good when they get to the Cup Series or whatever they get to. First they get to trucks and then move up like that. There's a lot of good younger drivers in, what is it, K&N Series? So I'm sure that'll be a thing, they'll do good. So I think it was sort of like they didn't let her get enough time to get used to the cars to make the switch. And that's kind of what they did. So hopefully they don't push those younger female drivers to get into the Cup Series too soon. Because it's just like a thing. They just try to like push these things to be like, oh look, we have a female driver, but they don't let the driver have time to develop their skills to be a good driver. Because it takes time to get the experience that the other drivers have. You know, you can't just come out here and compete with the Cup drivers after racing a year in the Xfinity Series. I think that they just push drivers through too soon, no matter what. A lot of the drivers should stay in the series for a little bit longer. I think they might have pushed Chase Elliott through too soon. He should have stayed another year in the Xfinity Series. Should have stayed, what, 3? Because he did 2 years, and then they brought him up too soon. William Byron is not really known yet. It's only been half a season, but that might be the same thing. They might have brought him up a little too soon. Eric Jones, he's done okay. He got a win finally, but it takes a couple years for these drivers to get up there, get that experience. They should just stay in the Xfinity Series for a year longer. I don't think staying in the Truck Series for a long time is necessarily beneficial, because it's a lot different. But Xfinity and Cup cars are relatively similar. Plus, you race against more Cup drivers in the Xfinity Series. You know, mostly every week you're going to race against Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Joe Logano, or Kyle Busch. And occasionally Kyle Larson, but again, he's still a younger driver anyways. Same with Austin Dillon. He should have stayed in the Xfinity Series all the time. But yeah. So I think they just like, as long as they don't push or make like too much of a, we need to get a female driver in the series in 3 years type thing, because that would just be too much. Like, give them time, give them 4 or 5 years, and they'll be good drivers. And I think that's the thing. It just takes time to get through the series, and they try to push everybody through too fast. So they give the drivers a year in the Truck Series and 2 years in the Xfinity Series. You know, we can see in 4 years if some of these drivers are ready to come up and race in the Cup Series. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that. But I think that's the thing. They just try to push people through too fast. They did that even with Danica Patrick. They didn't really have her race the Xfinity Series that long before they're like, alright, you're a Cup driver now. And she just went from doing Indy cars to stock cars in like 3 years. Like, really? Granted, she's a little bit older than a lot of the drivers that we're talking about, but I don't know, I think that they just try to push people through too fast. No matter what, like we talked about with the drivers in the Xfinity Series. Like, if they, like right now, I guarantee you there's talks about Christopher Bell driving in the Cup Series in 2019, which I don't think is a good idea. I think that he's done really good in the Xfinity Series this season, but I think you have to have a driver have more time. Like, I think there should honestly be a rule that you have to run 2 years in the Xfinity Series before you can come up to the Cup Series. Like, you have to run a minimum 2 years. That would be something that I think would be beneficial. That's kind of like what they want to do with basketball players. Have them go to college for 2 years before they can play in the NBA. I think it's a similar thing. I think the drivers should spend 2 years in the Xfinity Series. Like, if they're pushing it as the development type level, if they're pushing it as the, what is their thing, names are made here or whatever, like if they're pushing it as that type of thing, like, make it be the driver to be there for 2 years. You know? Like, Chase Elliott stayed for 2 years. Obviously, he hasn't come out and got a win yet, but I'm sure he'll get a win this season or next season. Probably next year, because once they figure out the Camaros. But that's the thing. William Byron spent 1 year. He should still be in the Xfinity Series this season. And then next season, put him in a Cup car. I think that's just how it should be. 2 years in the Xfinity Series. I don't really care if you spend a year in the Truck Series. It doesn't really matter. It's a good experience, honestly, to spend a year in the trucks and then 2 in the Xfinity. But I think it should be 2 years in that series before moving to the Cup Series. But, you know, that's probably never going to be a rule, but I think it's a good one. That would be something that I would implement. Alright, they have 25 laps to go here at New Hampshire. We've kind of been out front for a majority of this race. We haven't led every lap because we qualified in 13th. And we did not get the lead on lap 1, and then we pit and fell back to 15th or 20th or something like that. There's 66% there. We have a 3-second lead over Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott back there. Let's see who's over here with us. So, later in the week we will be racing another NASCAR race. We'll be doing an Eldora race. Oh, here's one of the female drivers that they're trying to push into the series too soon. No. I think they, what they did was they put a lot of the NASCAR Next drivers, well, they put all the NASCAR Next drivers in the Truck Series.
All clear.
In 2017, the actual game. And then for 2018 update, they didn't have enough Cup drivers, so they just put the NASCAR Next driver. That's why Haley Deegan was there. But I think she can be a good driver in the Cup Series. Long as, again, they don't push her to get into the Cup Series too soon.
Clear.
You know, maybe next year you might see her in a truck, and then if she does really good in the trucks, and they'll be like, oh, time to go to the Xfinity Series, and if she does good in that, then it's just time to go to the Cup Series. In 3 years, she'll be in the Cup Series. I think it's too soon. For any driver, I think it should just be, honestly, minimum at least 3 years in the World Series. Like, if that's how it works, is you do driving Cup and driving trucks and then driving Xfinity, it should be, you have to do a year in trucks, and you have to do 2 years in the Xfinity Series. Like, for the most part, that's kind of how it works. Is most of the drivers do that. They have, most of these teams have some form of alliance with a truck team, even if they don't have one. Like, I think they probably have the Ford trucks. I don't know. Isn't that Thor Sports a Ford truck team? So a lot of those drivers can come through that. You got Kyle Busch with the Toyotas, and then I don't even know what the Chevys do. Honestly, no idea. What Chevy trucks do they have? They have a couple teams there, but what's that one that isn't in the series or in the game? The one that Johnny Sauter was on. I don't remember what the team's called. But
All clear, driver.
Either way,
Hold your line. Clear quick.
they could develop something like that, and then they go to the Xfinity Series, and then you've got most of the teams there. Joe Gibbs, you've got Junior Motorsports, which is a Hendrick team, and then you got Stuart Haas, you got Roush. They all have teams in the Xfinity Series, so they can just get drivers like that. So I think that's the best way to go about it. 3 years minimum before you can go to the Cup Series. Because most of the drivers are just doing 2. Because you'll probably see Christopher Bell in 2019 in some way in a Cup
Down the
car.
top. Hold steady wheel. Clear low. Get down there.
Whether it's in a Toyota or not, I don't really know. It depends on how long his contract is for.
Clear up top.
He was on a contract with Joe Gibbs for 3 years.
All clear, driver.
Then they'll probably make they can do what they did with Eric Jones and add a Furniture Road team, second team for another year. But bring back the 77 car or something like that. I don't know. But I guess them doing that, and it's just not a good idea. But either way, let me know down below what you guys think. If that is a good idea or not, to have minimum 3 years in lower series before they can come and be a Cup driver. Like, what about Daniel Suarez? Like, looking at passing him there, that reminded me,
All clear, driver.
didn't he do, like, some racing in some of the series in, like, Mexico, and then jump in the Xfinity Series in 2016, and then Carlos retired, and then he was in the Cup Series? He spent a year in the Xfinity Series. And another driver, look at Kyle Larson. Now, he's had a little more success than some of these other younger drivers, but he didn't even run a full schedule in the Xfinity Series, and he's in a Cup car.
Clear right.
He didn't run, I don't think he ran full-time in truck either. So he just jumped from racing out of nowhere into racing in the Cup Series. So it kind of worked for him, but most of these drivers, they just bring him up so fast. You know, Suarez spent a year racing here. He might have done like a race in the truck series, but he spent, because I think the series in Mexico, I don't really know
Steady.
much about it,
Hold
but
your line.
I'd assume that that's sort of like the K&N series. But, oh boy, a lot of contact. There's 13 laps to go. What's our tires looking like? Give me a tire situation here. We're at 53. We're going to be fine on tires. If we had tire wear on 4 times like I normally do, then we maybe would have a situation that would be bad. But we don't. So here we are. 12 laps to go. Laps to go. See what we can do. In 12 laps, we're gonna lap ourselves. We're gonna lap up to 20th at least. We're gonna get by Trevor Bayne here. Remember Matt Kemp came back and was supposed to be so good? Yeah,
Stay on the top. Hold your line.
Alright, here we go. We're gonna get by Trevor Bayne. We're gonna work on getting by Dave Reagan. And then Chris Buescher? No, Allmendinger.
Still there, he's outside. All clear, driver.
Already past Buescher. He's another one of the guys that just spent like a year. Did he actually spend 2? He might have spent 2. I don't really know. But either way, he's another driver that just came up really quick. Won a championship, bring him up. What about Ryan Blaney? I mean, he kind of did race in the you know, I'm considering pitting. Because if I pit, I get new tires. The furthest back I'm going to go is 18th. I'll do it. I mean, it's going to bring everybody else back on the lead lap. It isn't? What? How? How is the leader pitting not bring her... You know what? Don't really care. Less than 10 laps to get back to the front. We have 7 laps. We're just going to let off here. Go to the inside. Because the inside lane works in this game for some reason. Really, really well. Oh, I guess because they don't have the track compound technically in the game. The PJ1 surface stuff. So, it makes sense at the bottom bit would have more grip than normal. Actually, that would make the middle lane be the best lane. Like it used to be. Right where Keselowski entered, that's the best lane to run. Because they made it a 2-route track by putting that surface stuff, and it made the race a little bit better. Alright, we're going to outbrake Keselowski. We're on newer tires than him, so we should be able to pull away here. Hello? You should not be pulling back up to me, fam. That should not be a thing. Oh wow, there's more cars coming. We're getting off the corner well. We are. Dope. Dope. Now we can just drive away. See what we can do. Because we're just going to pull away from everybody here and we're good. Alright. Just a couple more times around here at New Hampshire. This is pretty spicy. And a lot of laps, I'm pretty sure we probably led about 65, maybe 70. It did not take as long to get to the lead. I'm not really sure what the settings are on for difficulty. They might be set a little bit lower than they were for the series, because I know the series that we raced, the difficulty was up to like 103 out of 105. Not really sure what it's set on for this. Probably like 97. So it's not as difficult as I wish it was, but I probably made the mistake in changing the setting, just like I didn't change the setting for the tire wear. But it's okay. I don't really know why I wanted to change new tires. I guess just to have new tires for the end in case things got spicy. I guess. I don't know what it was. In case things got a little bit closer in the end, if we had a couple cautions, I would have new tires that I could just run with people. We are here in the last lap, into turn 3 and 4. No big mistakes are going to take us out of this race here now. And we're going to go down the front straightaway and win at New Hampshire. Yay! Excitement! Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one.